Welcome to SBU 408D Entrepreneurship. My name is Felicia Frida. It's an Aqua, and we're going to continue on managing resources. Specifically, we're going to look at section 6, resource mobilization. By the end of this session, you should be able to explain how to access local resources, develop strategies for mobilizing local resources, and devise strategies for utilizing resources. So when it comes to accessing local resources, yes, we're saying that local setting has resources which the entrepreneur can use to improve your business. Wherever you are, there are resources at your disposal you can use, which is going to also save you some costs in there as well. And so before you can benefit from these, you actually need to have some preparatory steps. You need to plan for it. You need to do some things before you go in for it. The first preparatory step you'd have to take or do is to identify and prioritize your resource needs. So if you know you need people, you need to what? Identify it. You know you need machinery, you know you need money, then you need to prioritize that. Okay, if I have the machinery, I don't have the people, it's going to affect me. I need more of the people, then I need the machines. You prioritize it in that order. Then once you are done, you need to conduct a local resource assessment. The people I need, the caliber of people I need to work in my community, is some there, or where I'm looking out for in Ghana is some here. So when you conduct that local resource assessment, that also lets you know what is available, the quantity that's available, the quality that's available, and it also helps in your decision making. And you need to develop simple profile of potential sources of what support. So maybe you can get some support from this person or this place or that entity or that institution or something. You can just do simple profiles of the type of support you can even get from them, and then you end up by matching the appropriate resources with the organization needs, because you can't bring use resources into the organization when there is no need for it. We made mention from the start of this unit that resources have to be useful, and so for it to be useful, it must be meeting a need in the organization, and so you need to match the appropriate resources with your organizational needs in there. These are preparations you'd have to do. And once you're mobilizing the resource, you don't just focus on money. You need to think beyond money. If it is people, you need to think beyond people. Don't be looking at people and then you're like, hey, I'm going to pay this amount of salary, then let me just hire just anybody. Think beyond money. If you need to get an equipment and you need to get a good one to help you meet your organizational goal, don't just focus on the money aspect and lose on what you can gain from that equipment. And you get people to connect with the work being done. It is very, very important. And you need to look at what cost effectiveness. Cost effectiveness is looking out and making sure that the cost you even incur in getting that thing, it does not outweigh the benefits you are going to get from that thing you are going in for. And you need to build local skills, whether it is for your human personals you are going in for and all those ones. You need to learn to build the local skills and competencies you need in there. And you need to keep records. Unfortunately, for most small businesses, we do our business just anyhow. We don't record anything, which is not the best. You need to be able to keep basic records, even if it's a single entry you do, even if it is just something small in your notebook you write. What matters is you are keeping track of everything that is happening in the business, and you need to stay in line with your mission. Your goal and the objective was to do X. Make sure at every point in time you are working towards X, and you are not deviating to Z instead. And you need to diversify some sources of support. Yes, you can't keep all your eggs in one basket. You'd have to diversify your sources of support as well when it comes to mobilizing resource. And when you want to some developing strategies for mobilizing local resources, that you need to first ensure that the staff needed to plan, implement, monitor, and evaluate this effort. So you must make sure that it has the staff needed to do this implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of the effort. And it says if it does not, the organization may need to train current staff, hire additional staff, or find partner organizations whose area of expertise complement your own. This is very, very key when it comes to what mobilizing local resources. And so some advantages of mobilizing local resources is that, well, the capital is less. You realize that this because they are here, the cost of incurring them is a bit less. There's a bit of flexibility because it may be more geared towards what you are doing in there. And so when it comes to flexibility, it says entrepreneurs who do not own resources are in a better position to commit and decommit quickly. That is the thing about it. If you realize it's going, you do well. If it's not going well, you just do. And sometimes there's also lower sunk costs because there are some costs, whatever you do, you can't redeem it again. It has just gone. That is it. And so you able to reduce lower sunk costs as well if you have a good resource utilization strategy. And you can also reduce some of the risk in the like the exposure you have in the risk of obsolescence and all those things can be reduced if you have what a good resource utilization strategy. And so all of these are very key in there. And it says if strategic resources are never owned and controlled, then there is no competitive advantage you can what obtain. We made mention in our earlier discussion that when it comes to resources, we have the non-strategic or the common resources, and we have the strategic resources. And what are strategic resources? Strategic resources are those resources that give the firm a competitive advantage. So they let you do better than your other competitors. And so if you have no strategic resources, obviously you have no competitive advantage. And it says no rent can be collected. And if rents are raised, it will create a cost push squeeze to the entrepreneur. So sometimes if you don't have strategic resources, these are some of the things that can what come up with it. So in summary, we've been looking at some resources in our local communities where you find yourself. There are some resources in there you can take advantage of, and we're seeing that most of them are being underutilized by entrepreneurs. And we need to remember that we are supposed to make the most of what is available to us in our communities because usually they are cheaper than getting it from what's out there or outside our communities. So let's do well to mobilize and then use these local resources effectively to achieve our organizational objectives as well. Thank you.